This is a message to Putin. Somebody should take a poop on that fucking punk's head. Okay. Any single country on this planet that has ever gone through any wars, whether past, current, or whatever, they're usually filled with cheating playboy whores with amongst the most highest divorce rates around, which thinks that cheating is normal. That is not normal. War don't make no sense to me at all by any stretch of the imagination. Cheating don't make any sense to me at all either. The UK, France, Germany, Japan, which is known as the cheating culture, that ain't no culture to me at all. Okay, Russia, the Ukraine, the US, let's see here, what else? Which countries have not gone through so much past or current wars? India, Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia, which has the highest percentage rates of virgins before marriage. India is ranked number 1 to have the highest percentage rates of virgins before marriage. They fornicate the least, they commit adultery the least, they have the least amount of divorce rates. Gandhi, who is from India, will tell you that selfishness causes institutions and violence. So does the fact that your country is a modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay? India is one of the top most populated countries in the world. That's why they make love and not war. Kama Sutra. Okay? So Putin, I got a message for your punk bitch ass. Ain't nobody on God's green earth the slightest bit impressed with you or your country, which is filled with nothing but cheaters. Okay? I would never. Okay? I am like Rick Steves. Okay? I may have not done so much traveling outside of the U.S., but I have still traveled my tail off within the U.S., okay? Rick Steves will tell you his number 1 favorite country is India, okay? India messed up, though, when it joined that thing called BRICS. Britain, Russia, India, and that other country I can't remember, okay? The least that you need to know is this. India, I would not recommend. If I was to make a magazine article of the top recommended places to move to, it would not be any of those ones that I mentioned that are filled with playboy cheating whores that have high divorce rates, and it would not be India. It would not be India, because India, you ever hear that saying, if you show me who your friends are, I'll show you who you are? You got those scam artists, telemarketers, okay? Any single birthplace in the world, this is a pattern that I've noticed, it seems to me, to be the case that any birthplace of the world, if you sidestep that region to the side, you have people that demonstrate to the world, we can do it better. Okay, that's what you call Yemen and Saudi Arabia, where there's no minimum age limit for marriage, as the book called Behind the Veil of Vice, which was written by John R. Bradley, talks about. Okay, then if you go to the U.S., you got Delaware that was born first. Oh no, Delaware that was born first, followed by like New York City, roughly. If that's not 100% accurate, I know that has to be pretty close to accurate. Then you got Massachusetts that sidestepped the birthplace of this part of the world, the West. Okay, Massachusetts is at the top of the list for smartest people, healthiest people, and least divorce rates. I heard Boston is at the top of the list to have the most Ashley Madison accounts, which is pretty sad at that. It appears that they are a little bit too smart for their own good. Then if you go to the final frontier of the West, of the U.S., not to Alaska, not to the other end of the spectrum of the West, of the West, not Southern California. You have to get right in the middle. Not too hot, not too cold. This temperature is just right. That's what you call Oregon. God actually called me to represent for Oregon. That's a different subject in and of itself. One thing at a time. One of my absolute favorite countries is not India by any stretch of the imagination. It would be Indonesia. They're ranked number 2 to have the highest percentage rates of virgins before marriage. And I found a book on Amazon, an ebook called Indonesian Women. And it was talking about this Indonesian woman that lost her virginity. It was like the author talking about how he stole the virginity of an Indonesian woman, led her to believe that they would get married and just used her. And from that book, I learned that Indonesian women feel really, really guilty right after they have sex for the first time. I heard the easiest women in the world to have a one-night stand fling with is in this order: Filipino women, Indonesian women, and then Ukrainian women in that order. And also in that order, Filipino women have the smallest tits in the world, followed by Indonesian women, and then followed by Ukrainian women. I would never touch a Slavic woman with a 10-foot pole, even if it was to entertain it in my mind's eye. I would never ever do that. Hell no. Okay. Women from Yemen, Saudi Arabia, and Indonesia. Maybe a woman from one of those Scandinavian countries. I hear those Scandinavian women, what is it, Norway, Sweden, Finland, they have the biggest tits with the women than any other kind of woman on the planet. And they're not even overweight, usually, either. So if you want to make a nice trophy wife, make a top 44 strain, the fastest maturing forbidden fruit from seed to deflowering that forbidden fruit. That's what you call Yemen and Saudi Arabian women. And then you combine that with, and also those are amongst the poorest countries in the world too. Maybe not so much Saudi Arabia, but Yemen, yes. If you combine Yemen, top 44, fastest maturing plant, poorest people around on the planet, with the richest people, most fertile people, because you have to get the fuck away from me before I kill you, bitch. Combined with the most fertile people around, because you have to consume the right kind of nutrients to have big knockers and wide hips. Okay, so anyways, that's all for now. I'm the modern day version of Rich Steves. If it wasn't for Europe's Autobahn with no minimum speed limit on there and their music, I wouldn't represent for Europe. But hell, when we got all kinds of money in the world, and out here we can have anything we want. We can have anything we want at all, as John Mayer sings in his Birmingham, Alabama live concert in his song called Why Georgia Why. We have bases in Europe, Indonesia. We do it like the nomad capitalists, baby. Anyways, that's all for now. As they say on The Wedding Singer, I can't remember everything I just said, but I'll have to replay this. Bye for now. Thank you. I represent for Europe, #1. Also tied with Europe with #1 is Indonesia. Represent and Oregon as well. Bye for now.